very destructive path, really, of narcissism and outright hatred towards the royal family.
Now, it's been 7 years since Meghan and Harry were married.
Peter Credlin, together with contributor Dan Wooten, go further, calling the ditch deal cataclysmic.
This is cataclysmic. This is a disaster. I mean, who do they blame for this? When they fell out with the royal family, they were able to say it were the horrible men in grey suits who were trying to hold us back, who were trying to stop us doing what we wanted to do. In fact, many of those men in grey suits said the same thing about Harry and Meghan.
Okay, let's spill the tea. What happens when the world's most controversial couple decides to just pop up at one of America's most iconic sports events completely uninvited? Oh, honey, they didn't walk into applause, they walked into chaos. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle strolled into the 2025 Lakers game expecting royal treatment. You know, glitz, glam, camera flashes, and that Hollywood sparkle. But instead of cheers, they were met with boos. Cold, brutal, in-your-face boos. The kind of crowd reaction that doesn't just sting, it burns. Once upon a time, they were the golden rebels standing up to the crown and rewriting royal rules. Now, they're just not wanted. What was supposed to be a fun night full of basketball and Hollywood razzle-dazzle turned into a humiliating public takedown. Meghan and Harry rolled in, dressed to kill, but they weren't even on the guest list. Let that sink in. They were not invited. And the moment they were spotted, oh, it went down. The crowd erupted not in excitement, but in anger. Booing, heckling, eye rolls, side eyes from celebs who once kissed the ground they walked on. This wasn't just shade, this was a full eclipse. It wasn't just a cringy moment, it was a reckoning. The world was watching as two former darlings of the press were publicly iced out by the very industry that once adored them. And what did the fans say? We're done. Now listen, once upon a time, they were the transatlantic dream team, but that dream turned into a nightmare real fast when they showed up at the Crypto.com arena. They thought they'd dazzle, instead they detonated. The second their faces popped up on the Jumbotron, the vibe shifted. The murmurs turned into a thunderous wave of jeers. Boo! Echoed through the arena like a war cry. Someone even screamed, "Where's your crown now?" That one hurt, you could feel it. And baby, the look on Harry's face shook. That man scanned the crowd like he was searching for just one friendly face. Spoiler alert, there was none. Meghan? She smiled, but barely. It was tight. It was forced.
Very destructive path, really, of narcissism and outright hatred towards the royal family.
Now, it's been 7 years since Meghan and Harry were married.
It was get me out of here energy. Phones came out, TikToks were made. This was no ordinary diss. It was a viral slap to their image. And here's the kicker. They weren't even supposed to be there. Yup, insiders spilled that Harry and Meghan weren't formally invited and didn't have the proper VIP credentials. They just showed up. Thought their names alone would unlock every door, but oh no honey, that crown, it doesn't work in LA anymore. In the celeb booths, the whispers were savage. What are they doing here? Did they mistake this for a red carpet? Even A-listers turned their backs. No eye contact, no fake hugs, no so good to see you, nothing.
Credlin, together with contributor Dan Wooten, go further, calling the ditch deal cataclysmic.
This is cataclysmic. This is a disaster. I mean, who do they blame for this? When they fell out with the royal family, they were able to say it were the horrible men in grey suits who were trying to hold us back, who were trying to stop us doing what we wanted to do. In fact, many of those men in grey suits said the same thing about Harry and Meghan.
Cold as ice. Back in 2020, they were heroes, brave, bold, escaping the clutches of monarchy. Now, they're seen as whiny, privileged, and constantly cashing in on drama. America loved the underdog story until the underdog started acting like divas. That night wasn't just a scene, it was a statement. And that message? We've moved on. This wasn't about just two royals crashing a game. It was the climax of years of frustration. People are tired. Tired of the headlines, tired of the contradictions, tired of the sob stories that somehow always come with a paycheck. Remember when they said they left for privacy? Oh, please. What followed was an avalanche of Netflix specials, Spotify deals, Oprah interviews, and tabloid chaos. What started as a graceful royal exit turned into Megxit, the messy headline-hogging saga that just wouldn't stop. They said they were escaping toxicity, but then the brand deals rolled in, the memoirs, the documentaries, the staged home videos, the drama, and the people, they caught on. If you wanted peace, why are you everywhere? The Oprah interview, explosive. The Netflix series, a royal roast. And don't get us started on Harry's memoir, Spare. That was a total tell-all takedown of the entire royal family. Like, we didn't need to know about his frostbitten bits, Harry. Seriously. What the public saw was two people monetizing their trauma, milking every painful detail, not for closure, but for clout. They built a brand not on hope, not on healing, but on hurt. They became professional victims, pulling out the emotional receipts every time they needed another spotlight moment. And while mental health is important, yes, vital, people started feeling manipulated. The Sussexes weren't surviving, they were selling. So let's talk about Spotify. Remember the massive podcast deal? Yeah, that one. It flopped hard. Meghan's Archetype show didn't pull in the numbers, didn't move the culture, didn't make a splash. Word on the street, Spotify execs were not happy. Some even called the duo difficult and unproductive behind the scenes. Hollywood started to whisper, and not the cute kind of whisper, the maybe they're not worth the drama kind. Even Meghan's big Netflix cooking and lifestyle show, meant to be her glowing, wholesome reinvention, was a total meh. Critics called it shallow, superficial, plastic. It wasn't giving authenticity, it was giving PR. Audiences didn't feel connection, they felt performance. It looked more like a woman desperate to prove she was still relevant, not someone empowered or redefined. It was too polished, too curated, too desperate, and guess what started happening? The red carpet invites stopped. No Emmys, no Oscars, no Met Gala, nada. She was iced out of every A-list fashion and culture event. Even Anna Wintour said, not today. And if that wasn't bad enough, Prince Harry decided to go on TV again. In a BBC interview, he complained about losing taxpayer-funded security in the UK. Seriously? That move sparked outrage on both sides of the Atlantic. He accused the British government of an establishment stitch-up, and it backfired big time. People weren't applauding, they were rolling their eyes. The guy who ditched the palace for a quiet life is now ranting on camera about personal safety while sitting in a quiet life while winning the award for being, the inspirational mixtape master for A Quiet Life. It didn't come off protective. It came off theatrical, self-pitying, detached from reality. The man who once made people laugh with his goofy charm, gone. This Harry is bitter, defensive, paranoid, and everyone's over it. And here's where it gets heartbreaking, because even after Queen Elizabeth's death, not once did Harry or Meghan offer a real olive branch, not to King Charles, not to William, not to anyone. No humility, no peace talks, just more content, more projects, more drama. And now, insiders say King Charles has shut the door for good. No phone calls, no texts, no reconciliation, done. Even the most forgiving fans started turning. It wasn't about betrayal anymore. It was about fatigue, exhaustion. People were tired of the Sussex PR machine. The endless cycles of "we were wronged," followed by another documentary, another book, another sit down. And those boos at the Lakers game, that was the audience saying, no more.
Very American people. So I think they're very much viewed as out of touch. Aristocratic style liberal elites.
No more crocodile tears wrapped in luxury. No more lectures from a couple who lives in a $14 million 0-cent Montecito mansion. No more royal rebels pretending to be victims. This wasn't just a UK backlash anymore. The entire world joined in. Viewers from every corner of the globe jumped into the fray with one united opinion. The Sussexes had gone from Hollywood hopefuls to public pariahs. And it wasn't even about the basketball game. It was about everything. The disillusionment had been building for years. From the Oprah sit-down to the Netflix series to Spare, it all added up. The couple kept playing the same tired record, "We've been wronged." But instead of pulling heartstrings, it started grating on nerves. They said they wanted freedom, but instead they built a franchise out of their pain. And people, they started to resent it. The Lakers moment was just the final straw, because when you walk away from the palace, then spend years monetizing that escape while trashing your family publicly, eventually the public goes, you know what, we're out. And that was the vibe inside Crypto.com Arena. No cheers, no fanfare, just the cold, unmistakable thud of a narrative collapsing in real time. The Sussex dream was unraveling, and this time, it wasn't just the British tabloids saying it. It was everyone. From royal experts to casual fans, the new consensus was clear. They were done. This wasn't independence. This was overexposure. And to make matters worse, the people they once counted on, totally MIA. No Oprah to come rescue them. No Tyler Perry mansion offers. No Beyonce-coded messages of support. Everyone has gone silent. You could cut the tension with a royal butter knife. Even the industry that once salivated over their every move, Hollywood, was now backing off like they had the plague. One source spilled that producers, agents, and brand reps had all come to the same chilling conclusion. They're bad for business, too risky, too unpredictable, too controversial, a desperate attempt to rebrand. Again, but here's the real tea. It might be too late. After everything from the palace drama to the tell-all books to the awkward Hollywood flops, his image is cracked. Deeply, painfully, maybe irreparably. And the public, they've grown numb to the tears, numb to the interviews, numb to the emotional manipulation. The same audience that once fought for him is now tired of him, because in the end, no matter how many titles you give up, or how many memoirs you sell, respect, it has to be earned. And once you lose it, good luck getting it back. At the Lakers game, Harry wasn't a prince. He wasn't a rebel. He wasn't even a celebrity. He was just a man standing next to his wife while an entire arena turned their backs, and that was the moment it all came crashing down. So here's where it all truly sinks in. At that very moment inside the Lakers arena, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were not just booed, they were exposed. Exposed for the brand they've become, for the persona they've polished, for the public goodwill they've burned through like wildfire. And perhaps the most chilling part of the entire spectacle, it wasn't the heckles, it wasn't even the jeers, it was the silence. Not a single person from Hollywood's elite, those same celebrities who once clapped and cheered at their Royal Freedom Tour, came to their defense. Not one. No waves, no hellos, no friendly gestures, just a calculated, collective snub. According to insiders, some VIPs were even told behind the scenes to keep it low-key. No hugging Meghan, no being caught on camera next to Harry. Why? Because aligning with the Sussexes now isn't chic, it's career suicide. And let's get real, that kind of quiet blacklisting, that's not gossip. That's Hollywood playing chess. And Harry and Meghan, they're not just losing the game, they're not even on the board anymore. It's the same town that once rolled out red carpets for them, that once turned every appearance into a headline, that once framed Meghan as the American fairy tale. Now it's acting like the party's over, and they forgot to send them the memo, because what's the hottest currency in LA? Relevant, reputation, and right now the Sussexes are bankrupt on both. They gambled on stardom, and the house always wins. And let's not pretend it was all unavoidable, because at the root of it all lies a very real truth. The fall of Harry and Meghan wasn't an accident. It was a slow, self-inflicted spiral. They chose the interviews, they chose the tell-alls, they chose to keep throwing their family under the bus again and again. They had options. They had a path toward peace, toward healing, toward redemption, and instead, they doubled down on drama. They made their pain the product, and somewhere along the way, people stopped buying because the world is tired, not heartless, just over it. That moment in the Lakers arena wasn't just a public rejection, it was a funeral for their image. A grand, messy, viral farewell to the idea of Harry and Meghan as beloved truth-tellers and noble survivors. Instead, they're now seen as opportunists, players of a game they once claimed to hate. They said they were escaping the spotlight, then built a home studio. They said they were silenced, then signed podcast and docuseries deals. They said they were healing while publishing every wound in hardcover. It's not just hypocrisy, it's exhausting. And in a world filled with real hardship, with people facing real battles, the public is no longer interested in watching two millionaires spiral through another monologue about how unfair life has been to them. So now the spotlight they craved is burning, and the applause they counted on has turned to cold, echoing silence. As of today, there's no rescue boat. No Netflix comeback can fix this. No publicist can spin this. No heartfelt Instagram post will undo that chorus of boos echoing through the crypto.com arena. That moment wasn't just heard, it was felt by millions. Around the world, it told us everything. The fairy tale is over, the crown is gone, and the sympathy dried up. Because when you trade integrity for attention, eventually the crowd walks away, and now they're alone in that spotlight. To put it bluntly, the Harry and Meghan saga has gone from bold rebellion to desperate reinvention to global rejection. Even their staunchest defenders are reevaluating. Even their former allies are distancing. Even their fans are struggling to keep justifying their choices. And with the palace shutting the door, the public looking the other way, and Hollywood going cold, what's left? They bet everything on being the anti-royals. But without the love of the people, without the admiration of the crowd, without the credibility of their causes, who are they? Just another couple chasing relevance, selling stories and hoping anyone is still listening. But after what happened at that Lakers game, the answer might just be no one.